All right, so on to wide receivers, everyone's
Yeah.
favorite position. Wide receivers is the new cult, hot thing to do. The more wide receivers you draft in the first four rounds, the cooler you are as a person.
That's just a fact. Everyone
Yeah, I mean,
knows. Yeah.
cool. So, yeah, I mean, as of right now in ADP, there's 7 or 8 wide receivers going in the first round of 12 team drafts. So, or 12 team leagues. So, in talking to you earlier, it seems like you're fully embracing that and riding the wave.
Definitely. I I always want to leave with a wide like two wide receivers probably in the first 3 rounds for
Okay.
sure. I like them too much. That's what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, there's plenty of stats that back it up, right? That
Yeah.
wide receivers get injured, like half as often as running backs for major injuries. And if you're especially if you're playing like a PPR point per reception format, I mean, these guys are just so locked in on an every week basis. The NFL is a passing league. You're going to get someone that's, always involved in the game plan and has the ability to rip off big weeks at any given time. So there is a reason it's becoming more popular. So can't really blame people there. So yeah, in most drafts, right, the number one overall pick is almost always J Jeff.
As it should
Um,
be. The
yep,
man,
and
the myth, the legend.
right, and then Jamar Chase kind of get consensus number two.
Yeah.
CMC's mixed in either number three, four, or five, depending on how your league goes. And then so these four receivers with Christian McCaffrey usually make up the top five. Is that where you are with it?
Yeah, I agree. I think so. I think I've got Jefferson Chase and then Tyreek Hill. Quick blurb on Hill. I think Hill could break the mold this year. He's talking about putting up 2,000 yards and stuff already. He's had a full year to get into the offense and get to know the offense better. He could just go crazy. And yeah, we're going zero RB. You bet.
Yeah. If you guys want any if you want any strategies or just to talk zero RB, my man Jeremy here is probably the biggest proponent that I know, at least.
Yeah,
So,
I was doing it before it was
yeah,
cool.
yeah, you made it cool.
Before
Yeah,
it was good, but it was still bad for you.
yeah, exactly. I'm probably more on like we said earlier in the show, like the hero RB. I want to make sure I lock in, one of those top like 6 to 8 guys, and then I'll get a little funky from there, and kind of wait on running back for 5 or 6 rounds. But okay, so basically, all right. So talk me through what draft pick would you need in the first round to not take a wide receiver? Like where would you have to land in the draft order to say, all right, the best thing to do here is actually to take a running back in the first round?
I think it's five. I think I like those top four that we're looking at right now. And then I think five, I'm going McCaffrey. And, like 6, 7, I could see, Austin Eckler getting in there. And then maybe Bijan that early. I don't really like taking a rookie
Yeah.
RB in the first round, even if he is the greatest already.
Yeah. So you're saying you'd be apt to take a running back if you were kind of like
Like 5,
the middle
6.
of the first
Yeah.
round, or like
I
middle
think
to late of
I
the
think
first
middle to
round.
late. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, that's kind of the sweet spot, right? You could
Yeah.
get CMC at a value. You
Hmm.
could take Eckler, which is probably like a slam dunk at like number
Yeah.
7, right? Okay, so I'll throw some this or that. We need to figure
Okay.
out
Yeah.
when to break the mold of the receivers and take the running back. Okay, so Cup or Eckler,
Oh, Cup. Yeah. I'm
Diggs
on
or
Cup.
Eckler.
That's tough, but Eckler. I like Eckler a little better.
Okay, so that's
Yeah,
it. So
I
so
think
we
so.
think around like pick 5, 6 is where we want
Yeah,
CMC and Eckler.
and
Okay,
Eckler.
so
Yeah.
let's try Bijan or Lamb,
I'm going Lamb. Yeah,
AJ Brown or Bijan,
I'm still going AJ Brown.
Devonte Adams or Bijan.
So that's why I'm going to take Bijan there.
I think we're on the same page here. Are you down on Adams this year?
A little, just because like he recently came out and said like Las Vegas looks like trash, like their offense and stuff. Like he's like trash talking his own team, and sometimes that's just like blowing hot air around. So it could be nothing, but because of that, I feel like I'm kind of moving all of the Las Vegas guys down, except for Josh Jacobs, who I mean he's still going to get fed the ball a ton. So if
Yeah.
he plays,
Okay. So now, I think I think we know where we're at with the top guys, and we'll still talk about them a little bit. But I think kind of an interesting tier is these like number 9 through number 14. We'll call them the second and third year super popular next big thing breakout candidates, right?
yeah,
So I kind of have 9 through 14 like kind of all in the same tier, to a degree. I mean, they're all super high upside young players that we think are going to be better this year than they were last year, right? So
give me
who in that
Garrett
group?
Wilson above Devonte Adams.
Wow, that's strong.
Yes,
So you
love
think
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson is
He could
should
be
be a
Justin
first round pick?
Jefferson. Like, what was that? Was it last year? Just Jeff Jefferson was going like 7. That should be Garrett Wilson this year because he'll be right in that 1, 2, 3 next year.
Wow.
He's
Okay.
good. The man's
I
really,
dig
really good.
I dig it, man. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that in the me and you both play dynasty fantasy football, and I think his price in dynasty ballooned so high that I like everything comes in waves, right? I grew to like not hate him, but say like, all right, guys, like enough is
Yeah.
enough. Like
Done.
he
Yeah.
shouldn't be like wide receiver 3 in dynasty, like, or
Yeah.
it's a little too much. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I mean, I think he just feels like a guy that A-Rod is gonna love.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Absolutely.
elite route runner, electric after the catch. He can make contested catches. He's great at the back shoulder throw. I just think he's like a twitched up Devonte Adams.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome to watch. So okay, so we know you're at least 3 or 4 spots higher on Garrett Wilson than consensus. Um, can I tell you someone that's ranked up here that I'm very confused about, and maybe talk me into him,
All
or
right.
tell me that I'm justified?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is Chris Olave number 12?
Oh man, he like he he was one of the best rookies. Like he had a great rookie season. His he put up so many yards, so many catches. He's gonna be really, really good. And Michael Thomas is nobody. He's done. Don't be wrong. I love can't guard Mike. Just you can kind of guard him now.
Yeah,
That's the problem,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And Olave,
yeah.
Olave has it. I was not a big Olave fan at the beginning of last year. I wasn't sure about him. And I think he's proved everybody wrong. I think he's like the people that doubted him, like me. I think he's really, really good. I think he should be where he is right there on that chart for ranking wise. I probably got him right in that spot, just below Waddle. I want Waddle for him, and then I kind of want him there because he's got that potential top 3 wide receiver season in him. I think him
Okay.
and Wilson have potential to be right up there with Tyreek, Cup, Chase, and Jefferson this year.
Yeah, I think it's hard for me because Amon Ra, Garrett Wilson, and Waddle are just so clearly, picks I want to smash,
Yeah,
way more than Olave. So
yeah,
that's where it just gets tough for me. And like just me personally, I like T Higgins and Devonta Smith more than Olave. So I'm just kind of down on him. It's one of the, I don't know that I'm just totally off him. I'm just gonna let someone else pick him because the 3 players behind him, I
that'll be
just
me.
like. I like their value. Yeah, that'll be you picking
Let,
him.
let me pick him.
Okay, you can pick him. Go ahead. So okay, so we know you're a big second year wide receiver guy. Got it.
Yeah,
Okay. So
that
Garrett
is
Wilson,
correct.
Olave, noted.
Yeah.
All right. So okay. And then we kind of have a little, mini tier here of yes, I'm still good at football. Don't forget about me from
Yeah,
16 down to 21.
that's a good
So
way to
this
put
is
that.
kind of what?
Yeah. I like that.
I
That's
know,
a good way
right?
to put it. Yeah,
It
that's
just kind of
good.
works
That's
out,
good.
doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So who in the don't forget about me? I'm still good at football, kind of, maybe, sort of. Do you like between 16 and 21?
Probably Amari Cooper on that offense with Deshaun Watson. I think he could, really blow up. He looked good. He looked really good last year. He made Dallas look just like really dumb for what was it, a 5th round pick or something. They traded him away for. Come on.
Yeah.
But no, I like him a lot. Probably Calvin Ridley. Everyone's just talking so much about, but it's driving his price up to the point where I'm not really drafting him. And then I will say Jerry Jeudy and Christian Watson on that list. Both I like a lot. I actually like Christian Watson probably a little better than Jerry Jeudy. I just think like he's a guy who he could be just nothing this year, or he could just be amazing, and I don't want to miss out on him potentially being amazing.
Yeah, I'm with you on Watson. He had weak winning games last year, multiple of them. So that's what we're shooting for. We're shooting for upside. And yeah, I mean, in this tier, kind of like the 16 to 21, I'll just tell you, like, yeah, I mean, I'm extremely lukewarm on Cooper and Allen. Ridley's cool, but I'm with you. His price is inflated, but I think I will still have some of him. Debo Samuel to me is super interesting because he's just, one season removed from being a top, like 3 to 5 receiver. So we know the talent is there. Christian McCaffrey being there definitely dings him a little bit, but he's an absolute baller, dude. And if he gets, showcased in this offense, I think Brock Purdy's a perfect quarterback for him. He wants to get rid of the ball quick and let the receivers do the work. So I'm kind of in on Debo. I mean, I think that his upside is definitely there.
If that's his price, that I'm in, because I think he should be kind of probably right below DK Metcalf. There
Exactly.
is where I would have him. He should be a little higher. He should be in that tier. He just he has that talent. He has that play making ability to just break tackles and run for it. That after the catch, yards is just huge with him.
Nice. Yeah, agree. And yeah, I'm with you on Jeudy. In on him this year. I like him definitely more than. Right? Yeah, I mean, but
Denver,
I think
just Denver is scary.
Russ will have to be able to cook better than he did last year. I think he's going to. They got rid of the coach, right? And that seemed to be the problem. So yeah, I'm in on Jeudy this year. Super talented. We're just waiting for Russ to, not suck. So yeah, in on him. But to be honest, I probably won't have a ton because I like Terry more, and Terry's ranked later. So I just think Terry McLaurin's so freaking rock solid, dude.
F1 McLaurin. He's just always going to put up wide receiver 2 points.
It's so easy. I mean, he's guaranteed to finish wide receiver 10 to wide receiver 24. Like lock it up. And he's priced at wide receiver 23. It's like he's priced at his floor.
His floor is great. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and
really
he's another coach's guy too. You were talking about coach's guys. He's a coach's guy. Everybody loves him. He works his butt off. Like, yeah,
for sure. So, so any fades that you're seeing here? I mean, my fade in this range is Hopkins. I don't want any piece of that. I just, I mean, it's so weird. But if you told me like, who do I think is going to score more points this year, Hopkins or Burks, I'd almost like want to take the flyer on Burks.
Yeah, that's tough. I would still go Hopkins against you on that one. I think he's still got it in him, but it's hard to take him where he's going. There's just like we were talking about. There's other guys I'd want more. I'd take McLaurin and Jeudy and Watson, and I'd take Drake London even on the terrible Atlanta team. I'd still want Drake London maybe even just the upside. I want the upside there, and on a Tennessee team that doesn't seem to have a ton of upside, I'd rather go somewhere else.
I'm with you, man. Wide receiver 22 to 26, I'd all rather have than Hopkins this year. So
I'd rather have Lockett too. I like Lockett this year.
Yeah. Can we talk about just how underrated he's been for 4 years in a row?
Forever. Yeah. Every time, wherever you take him, he outplays.
I think I gotta look this up. I mean, hold on real quick because I'm gonna see how many years in a row Lockett has hold Oh man, sleeper
It's
changed. I
finished
don't know.
high. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
No.
it was like what 4 years in a row he's been wide receiver 14 or higher.
Yeah, and he always gets drafted this range or lower. He gets in like
Yeah.
the late 20s to even 30s sometimes, because people are like, he's old, he's slow, whatever. No, he's not. He's still great, and also Seattle's offense kind of surprised everybody last year. I think that was a little part of his dropping last year, but this year they're going to do it again. Nothing's changed,
Yeah,
except
they're
they've had
they're
another
better.
year. Yeah,
They're better. You have Kenneth Walker coming back. You added oh, I'm blanking. Jackson Smith and Jigba.
yeah,
Dude, Lockett is going to be single covered all the time, and you don't want to do that if you're a defense. He's just an elite deep threat. So yeah, love me some Tyler Lockett. Okay, so is other than Tyler Lockett being disrespected, pretty much every year,
yes,
can we talk about the fall from grace of Mike Williams? I mean, Mike
yeah.
Evans.
And Mike
Mike
Evans, yeah,
Evans.
yeah.
So he, what,
Mister
this is
1000.
9 years in a row, 8 or 9
Yeah,
years in a row with 1,000 yards, and
Mister
now he's
1000.
ranked wide receiver 33.
It's
Is it the
no one
Baker
even
Mayfield
knows who the
effect?
starting quarterback is. It like they haven't even declared Baker the starter yet, right? It's still a quote competition between him and Trask. I don't know. I guess it's that. I think I'll have him on my team because if he's my wide receiver 3 or 4, I'm pretty happy. He's probably going to do pretty well. He's going to catch 1,000 yards again. Like it's just going to happen.
Yeah, I'm with you. So who above him in the rankings would you draft him over?
Oh, man, that is tough. I do like a lot of those guys. I think over Marquise Brown, I'm
Mhm.
iffy on Arizona, and I think I kind of like the other guys better,
Okay.
honestly.
Okay, so we're probably about at consensus on Mike Evans.
Yeah,
It's just unfortunate with his QB situation, but
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I think you're kind of drafting Mike Evans at his floor finishing position. I can't see him finishing as a wide receiver 4. He's just too good for
yeah,
too long. It's going to happen, right?
yep,
Cool. All right, so now we're kind of getting into, what do you call these? I guess these are fringe wide receiver threes.
yeah. Like
If
wide
you
receiver
if you have
fours
them,
to threes. Yeah,
yeah. So who are you targeting in this range? Who do you're wide receiver heavy, so these guys might be your wide receiver 4. So who are you after? I'm assuming you're looking for upside here.
yeah. I like Dotson. A little bit of a homer pick for me. I don't. I try not to draft too many homers, but he's one where I like where he's going, so I like grabbing him where he is. I just think he'll. I mean, you're betting on the Washington offense being better this year and him being a part of it. But I like him there, and a guy there I like a lot is Jackson Smith and Najigba. Sorry, you were talking about him earlier. JSN, I like him a lot. I actually have him kind of close to Lockett rankings wise.
Hmm.
He's a guy where you're going to have to understand he's probably going to sit on your bench maybe for like 5 weeks, 6 weeks, or something like that. But a lot of these like really talented rookies, they show up the second half of the season and go crazy. Like last year, we saw Wilson and Olave and those guys go crazy, and that's what helps you win championships. They get you to the playoffs, that last stretch, and then they help you win the playoffs.
Exactly. Yeah. If Metcalf or Lockett were to go down, I mean, I think we would be really excited about JSN there. Um, Let me see. So in this range, um, so are you? I don't think you're a George Pickens guy. So you want Deontay Johnson over George Pickens?
I have them like right next to each other. I like Deontay Johnson a little more just because he gets all the targets, it seems, right now.
Hmm.
But you can't deny Pickens' ability. So I'm kind of like, whichever one kind of falls a bit, which is usually Pickens, I sometimes am grabbing. But I don't like, dislike either of them. Oh, what do you think? Are you grabbing one more? Or you get taking none of them? Are you just staying out of Pittsburgh?
Yeah, maybe it depends on my team makeup. I think Deontay Johnson is like the floor play and Pickens is the ceiling play. So, maybe if my picks, earlier in the draft are kind of on the safe side, maybe I'll shoot for Pickens. I mean, I think he has a much higher ceiling than Deontay Johnson. I mean, Deontay Johnson had no touchdowns last year, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and
Pretty
a lot of drops too, which
pretty wild that a number one receiver on his team had no touchdowns, but
yeah. Well, it's called it's regression, right? He's going to regress to
sure.
having
Yep.
touchdowns this year.
Yep.
So
Yep. Every player will always have more
yeah,
touchdowns than last year. Yeah. Um, okay. So moving down a little bit more, we're like firmly into wide receiver four range. Um, yeah, the guys that I really at this point, when you're outside of your top three receivers, you just have to absolutely just shoot for the moon and shoot for upside. You can always draft, the Edelman types that are, bye week fill-ins, get them off the waiver wire or get them later in the draft. We want to shoot for the players here that can, step up and be, that fringe wide receiver one or wide receiver two guy if things break right for their team. So for me this year, there's two guys in this range that I really like.
like can I guess one?
Sure.
Is it going to be Zay? Is it Zay Flowers? I thought you maybe
No,
could go Homer here. No. Oh,
no,
I
no.
was surprised. Okay.
So all the reports about Zay Flowers are glowing.
Yeah.
I just think that even the number one receiver on Baltimore is not their number one receiver, right? I mean, I
Mark
think this is
Andrews.
going to be, yeah, it's Mark Andrews. So I think this is going to be kind of like a Kansas City situation where, the number one receiver on the Ravens is only a wide receiver three, right? So, and I don't know who it's going to be. And it could be anyone, any week. I mean, Odell's healthy and looks good. Zay Flowers is just smoking people in practice all day, every day. Bateman's back and is supposedly healthy now. I don't know, man. I think I'm kind of out on all of them except, OBJ is the cheapest and
Yeah.
might have the highest ceiling of the three. So you might be able to count me in there.
Yeah. I kind of like taking a shot on Zay Flowers here or there. I just think like he could, he's a little unknown with the rookie, so like he could become the alpha there and just like tear it up.
Yeah, he was kind of like the lost rookie in the shuffle, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you see Quentin Johnston has more buzz, Addison
Yeah.
has more buzz, Zay Flowers kind of lost a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean in this range, the people I'm really shooting for, I love Treylon Burks.
Mm.
I just think he's has a really great profile, size, speed. He reminds me of so much of AJ Brown, and he's on Tennessee now. I think Tannehill's going to be really comfortable with that. And also, I'm buying into the Elijah Moore bounce back.
Yeah.
I like you've mentioned a couple of times, Cleveland they're due, man. I mean, I think they're going to come back and have their offense is going to be humming. And Elijah Moore he was up in the dynasty wide receiver, 12 to 15 range just like a year ago. The fall from grace has been wild. So
Yeah.
I'm not counting him out quite yet.
Yeah, I like both those guys. Actually, I know you're talking about kind of going with more upside guys and stuff, but I think for like a really safe floor play, Brandon Cooks is really good. And last year, he just like dialed it in with Houston. You can't count those. If you don't count those numbers, you look at him 2 years ago, the guy crushes it. And just with that Dallas offense, Gallup is back and healthy, but Cooks could end up being the number two there. And we haven't seen CeeDee Lamb like go crazy yet, which could happen this year. But I just think there's a spot for Cooks, and I don't mind grabbing him here and there too.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Super safe play. I mean, we just know he's locked in for 750, 800 receiving yards and 6 or 7 touchdowns. So I don't mind that at all. People that I'm completely out on, I don't think me or you are drafting Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Um,
We have
and
the Chuck reviewer is asking about Zay Jones. I like Zay Jones. I think there's competition there. He's got Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley going on, but Zay Jones, he's going to have those blow up games. It's going to happen. And if like you and I are talking about, we like the Jags offense this year, and getting a piece of that offense is always good. I think, and from where he's going too, Zay Jones is going pretty late. You can grab him late and stash him on your bench, and if something happens to the guys in front of him, he's immediately, wide receiver 2-3 range.
Yeah, agree with that. I'm trying to get a piece of that Jacksonville offense any way I can. I'm even in on Evan Ingram this year again because I'm always in on Evan Ingram every year. But yeah, I mean, I think that offense is going to be great, so I don't mind that for an end of the bench guy.
Yeah.
I want to talk real quick about the Kansas City wide receivers. What's blowing my mind is Patrick Mahomes is either the number one, two, or three QB ranked every year for the past 4 or 5 years, and the top ranked Kansas City wide receiver is Kadarius Toney at wide receiver 49. Can you please explain what is going on?
I don't know, but I'm just buying MVS all over the place. Like I'm okay taking him as like my receiver 5 or 6 or something, because he goes so late, and I just think he has that like long play ability there. They like him in that role. That him or even Sky Moore too. Sky Moore
Hmm.
could.
Yeah.
If I have Sky Moore and Elijah Moore on my team, one of them's going to be great, right? I hope.
Hmm.
Even
Yep.
the Moore brothers.
You're hoping you get more out of them this year than last year.
Yeah,
Yep.
there you go.
But yeah, I'm so we have Kadarius Toney, wide receiver 49. Hate to say it because love the talent, but he's probably a full fade for me. The guy just can't
Yeah,
stay healthy. He already got surgery on his knee a couple
it's a
weeks
shame.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, it really is a shame because he's so fun to watch play. And then you have Sky Moore, wide receiver 51, and then you have Rasheed Rice, wide receiver 79. I think this is kind of to me like the crowded backfield running back situation. I'm just going to take one of the cheaper guys, like you said, Marquez Valdez-Scantling
yeah.
or Rasheed Rice, maybe Sky Moore,
I'm
and
kind of out
just
on Rushy Rice. I feel like he's kind of the wide receiver 3-4 in the group, so I'm a
okay.
little out on him.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to watch more preseason, see what
Yeah,
Andy Reid says about these guys. All I know is one of the Chiefs wide receivers will be a wide receiver three or higher. It probably almost has to happen.
or
So
just
yeah,
Kelsey catches everything
yeah, he's
and
done that.
continues to dominate fantasy football
Yeah,
the
we're
way he
getting bored
does.
of it. We need
Yeah,
something new. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, just I'm gonna try to end up with a Chiefs receiver just because it's fun, and Justin Ross too. They're saying that he could possibly make the team, so that'd be cool.
He's a good
Um,
like probably like late round flyer, like sleeper pick at the very end of your draft. If you just have an extra spot on your bench, grab Justin Ross and just cross your fingers.
exactly, elite talent. Probably wouldn't have been a first round draft pick or a second round draft pick had he not had his neck injury in his last year of college. Unfortunate, but super talented guy. So hopefully he'll get a chance. Okay, so now we're getting down into the dartiest dart throws ever. One of my favorite players. I mean, I don't know why he's one of my favorite players, but just ever since he entered the draft, I love Nico Collins.
Yeah,
I just love, he's kind of that old school like Andre Johnson, maybe because he's on Houston, the Andre Johnson, like I'm 6'4", I'm 225 pounds, I'm bigger than you, I'll run you over type receiver. He's just really fun to watch for me. So I'm hopeful in Nico Collins this year. I have him everywhere in dynasty leagues, and Stroud is probably an upgrade over Davis Mills, and Nico Collins is the number one receiver, right, on Houston.
yeah, he's got to be. I mean, but people are talking about this Tank Dell. You seen that
That was
after
one
it?
play. It was one play.
I know, but who
Yeah,
knows?
I hear you.
Who
I hear
knows in
you.
that kind of situation? But no, going that range, I really don't see myself grabbing too much Collins. It's another thing where like just the Houston situation, I just avoid.
Yeah.
But who I've been trying to grab a bunch of is Jamison Williams for Detroit, and I know it's tough to come back from the injury he had and really get like back to his elite level. But when you're getting him for that price, and he's going to miss 6 games, but you don't need him until week 7 anyway because you'll already have your starters. So he just sits on your
Mhm.
bench, and then you hope he blows up.
Just
And
marinates there nicely. Yep.
yeah, marinates. And his talent is there, and I think he could be a really sneaky, you know, help get you into and then win the playoffs kind of wide receiver.
So are you scared off at all? Have you heard like the coach speak on Jamison Williams? It's like the coach said something last week, and it was like almost along the lines of he was like, yeah, he's never going to be one of those receivers that can like, catch the ball. Like
I
it was
missed
really
that one. Jeez.
no. He said like, oh, he's never going to be one of those hands guys. I'm like, yeah, you kind of need
You
those
kind of
if
need
you're
that. Yeah.
so yeah. I mean, but yeah, no, I'm with you. It's like you're not going to plan to use him the first 6 weeks
Yeah.
anyway because you're drafting him as a wide receiver 5 or 6, and he could have that Tyreek Hill esque, one trick pony, deep threat, running end arounds, something like that. That's the mold of player he's in, right?
Yep. I think so.
Yeah.
Anybody else
So
going in this kind of later range where you're snagging? You see yourself grabbing a couple of them?
yeah, man, it's like I really like Rondale Moore for
Okay.
like a ton later than Hollywood Brown. I
Yeah.
mean, Rondale Moore was a target monster last year, low key. I mean, I know it was with Kyler, but the QB change doesn't really affect me all that much. I mean, I know this offense is going to be anemic, but the type of receiver Rondale Moore is like swing pass, screens, quick
He
slants,
reminds you of
and that
Debo a little bit, right?
yeah,
I feel like
he's like a
he
tiny
does.
yeah, he's a tiny little Debo.
Yeah.
James Conner is the only running back in the backfield to speak of there. So I feel like they'll even get Rondale Moore like 3, 4, 5 carries a game. I don't know, man. If you look at his targets per game last year, he was just eating them up. And yeah, I think he's gonna, I don't think the ceiling's high there, but a safe little player that would be fun to keep an eye on when we're talking about someone this late. I just don't like many players after him. Let me see, like Donovan Peoples-Jones is intriguing to me for more of the Cleveland reasons. Um,
I like
Anyone else?
Hodgins if I'm picking a New York Giant. If I want to pick
He could be
one,
their number one, right?
yeah, I'm picking Hodgins or, you know, really late, maybe Paris Campbell or Slayton. I feel like those three, I'm kind of off on Hyatt or
Hmm.
Shepard. I'm kind of done with those guys. But give me like Hodgins, or it's like you're hoping one of those guys like becomes one of something, right? It's a Brian Table offense. You want somebody, and just
Hmm.
hope that they become the guy.
Hodgins, ex Buffalo Bill,
Yeah,
shout out
yeah,
Nickel City
that's
Mafia.
right. Yeah,
And he was like low key their wide receiver 1 at the end of the year last year. He scored a
he was.
touchdown in what 4 straight games at one
Yeah,
point.
oh yeah,
So yeah, I dig that. Thanks for pointing him out. Daniel Jones got paid and he's got to have a go-to guy. So why can't it be him?
yeah.
So I
I
feel
like
that.
Dubs a little bit too. Is that where you're going? Yeah, I like Romeo
Yeah,
Dubs a little bit.
it's just yeah. Who's going to be the number 2 receiver in Green Bay is just
Yeah.
so up in the air. So yeah, I mean he has as good of a chance as anyone. So I don't mind that at all. Let me see if there's anyone down here. Um,
Here you're really getting into the who
yeah,
knows.
I think we're out. Although I think this is disrespectful for Josh Palmer.
They're saying he's looking really great in camp. He's beaten out Quentin Johnston, who they spent a lot of draft capital on.
I mean
Uh,
Josh Palmer was what like wide receiver 30 to 35 last year. He was solid.
yeah, because Keaton or Williams gets hurt, and he was right in
Exactly.
there, and it
They're
could
made of
happen again.
glass.
Yeah,
They're made of glass.
yeah.
Yep.
Actually, Marvin Mims Jr. is getting a lot of talk lately, right there in that same spot, just
Right.
from all the injuries they have. Poor Tim Patrick. The dude is like
Yeah.
worked so hard to like get a contract and just like be a part of the team, and it could be his career now with this last injury.
Yeah. He's out for the year
Yeah.
again. And then help me remember the other guy that went to Penn State, KJ Hamler.
Yes, Hamler's out
Also
again.
he,
Yeah.
he got cut. So yeah, so I'm with you there. Marvin Mims, electric athlete, early declare into the NFL. He's a really cool dart throw to have on the end of your bench. Could be a complete zero, but could be really nice. So I'm with you.